Do we need men, in your opinion?
No, because they do nothing all day.
Do we need men?
No, like, they just sit there.
Do we need men, in your opinion?
No, because they're icky.
This video highlights a major issue with modern relationships. Dealing with non-traditional women can often feel like managing a child's emotions. The expectation is that men should handle all of it, while women get to pick and choose their roles without taking responsibility for their own emotions. It's as if society thinks men should just absorb all the emotional labor, while women remain free from accountability. It's odd how women can curate their roles in society but face little to no pushback. Meanwhile, if a man has standards or knows his worth, he's labeled toxic or controlling. Society has shifted into a feminist, misandrist bubble that seems to have a deep-seated disdain for men. When a man decides he's had enough of the BS, many modern Western women will push back so hard it almost makes traditional values seem appealing. Traditional women in other cultures respect men and understand the roles each gender plays in a relationship. They see masculinity as something positive and crucial for a strong family dynamic. But today, if a man expresses a desire for a more traditional, soft partner, he's often labeled a misogynist.
I'm literally shaking right now because I just had a man approach me in a parking lot and it went fine. And I'm going to tell you why it went fine and how to address it, because it was in a book I read and this is how you're supposed to address it, but it scared me. I'm literally shaking. So this guy, I am alone with my son, by myself, a woman, and a male approached me in a parking lot. He's, "Excuse me, miss," and I don't know why in the hell he was approaching me or what he was trying to do. And before he was probably 30 feet from me when he said, "Excuse me, ma'am." And I turned around and I literally yelled at him and I said, "Do not approach me." And he immediately started going in the other direction. And I just kept saying it over and over and over. I said, "Do not approach me. Do not approach me." And he, of course, got what the F did it? He started cussing and yelling, what's your problem? And I looked at him and he actually then crossed a couple cars down from my car. He didn't come anywhere near me. He crossed a couple cars down from my car and was like, continuing to cuss and say, "What's your problem?" And I said, "You do not approach women in a parking lot." I just kept saying, "Do not approach me. You do not approach women in a parking lot," yelling it. No male should ever approach a woman in a parking lot, ever. No male should ever approach a woman in a parking lot. And if a male does approach you, you need to turn around and use the strongest voice that you can possibly use with them. Don't be polite. They need to literally screw off. No male should be approaching.
All right, let's get real. Every time you hear someone start a video with "I'm literally shaking right now," you already know the deal. It's usually a load of BS. It's like a red flag waving high that what's coming next is more about grabbing attention than delivering any real substance. Seriously, it's become such a common tactic on TikTok. Start with some dramatic line and suddenly everyone's hooked. But let's be honest here, it's not fooling anyone who's paying attention. It's just a way to stir up some drama and get those precious views. If you're leading with theatrics, the rest is probably just as manufactured. So next time someone hits you with that shaking line, remember it's more about the show than the truth. Let's not kid ourselves. This is just another way to make sure everyone stops scrolling and starts watching.
Just you know what? How many times you've gotten to a club into VIP for free when some ugly chicks had to pay full price?
Is that my fault?
Oh. No. I've asked how many times it happened before you go down that path.
I mean, plenty of times in Miami.
Exactly, but that's not fair, is it?
Well, please don't forget I'm not from here.
But that's not the point, ma'am. That's not fair, is it?
I also don't care about those things.
But so you only care about fairness when it doesn't benefit you.
I just don't go to clubs that often.
But that's not the point. I asked you, how many times you've gone to a club where you got in free where ugly chicks or less attractive chicks had to pay? And you know that's happened. You didn't say, "Excuse me, sir. Even though I'm attractive, I demand that you charge me full price." You're okay with the double standards that benefit you. But the ones you don't like, you just throw at the wind, use sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right to deflect and dismiss guys who are normally intimidated by this thing. I'm not. I'm just challenging your positions. You're okay with it not being fair when it benefits.
So it's been brought to my attention that men no longer want to come up to women anymore. Due to sex allegations, women being just so rude and disrespectful, and rejection. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know men didn't want to come up to women anymore. I'm barely finding this out. Why do women choose to cuss guys out when they come up to them and approach them? I have no idea. I apologize for that. But there's just too many fine men. And if it takes me, the women, having to come up to you guys and shooting my shot, saying "what's up," being the big stepper, then I'll just have to do that. And I'm going to just start coming up to you guys and shooting out compliments and see where it takes me. So if I start coming up to y'all in the grocery store and I say, "Excuse me, sir, you are just so sexy. I want a response. Okay, I don't want none of that shy stuff."
Ladies, it's time to shake things up a bit. For centuries, the script has been the same guys make the first move, face rejection, and put themselves out there. But nowadays, men are starting to check out, and who can blame them? It's not just about fearing rejection anymore, it's about fearing repercussions that could impact every part of their lives for just a chance at a date. Let's get real for a second. Many women still see themselves as some kind of prize to be won.
But only if
That's
they
not how
find
it
a way
works
to
anymore.
use it against you.
Relationships
The
thrive
legislation
on
these
mutual
chicks have
respect,
signed off on for
understanding,
the
and
last-
shared effort. In today's world, if women want serious relationships, it's time to step up and start approaching men. The ball is in your court, ladies. Men are tired of navigating the tricky maze of modern dating. We're exhausted from the constant risks, the endless need to be on guard, and the mind games. Many of us have hit our breaking point. If you're waiting for Prince Charming to ride in and sweep you off your feet, you might be in for a long wait. We're constantly told to keep our distance whether you're jogging, shopping, or working out. Yet, we're also criticized for not being proactive or romantic enough. It's a lose-lose situation. Here's a reality check: the art of approaching takes practice. You don't just become a master of courtship overnight. With every new skill comes mistakes and awkward moments. But today the margin for error is razor thin. In our quest to weed out actual creeps, society has given women the ultimate weapon, the power to label a guy a creep. Once that label sticks, it's game over socially and professionally. It's no longer just about a bruised ego. A single misstep can lead to serious social and career consequences. So, if there's a guy you're interested in and he hasn't made a move, chances are he's been burned before. He's treading carefully to avoid pitfalls. Ladies, if you want him to take the leap, you need to make it crystal clear. Subtlety won't cut it. It's time to be boldly obvious, because the only way to cut through the fog of mixed messages is with a blazing signal of clarity.
Okay, so I just finished my day and left the grocery store, and I was almost to my car, and this man, I could see him approaching. I'm hard of hearing, I don't hear very well, but I did hear him say, "Excuse me, miss," and before he could even get the rest of his shit out, I kid you not, I said, "Please do not approach me. I am trying to go home." And in the most solid, loud, no bullshit voice I could give this man, I'm getting in my car and I hear him go, "Okay, geez." And I kind of step back out and I said, "You don't approach strange women who are alone in the parking lot." And he said, "Well, we've been doing this for 30 years. And I said, "Not today." So to the fucking dude that was selling candy or whatever in the Target parking lot, how about you just don't? Because I don't fucking know you. I don't know that you're not a threat, and you don't know that I'm not a threat. I was not having your shit today. I'm not going to have it tomorrow. Good luck, but maybe just in the future, don't approach strange women in the parking lot or argue with them about trying to approach them in the parking lot.
All right, here's the deal. I'm seriously doubting that this whole video wasn't just cooked up for some cheap TikTok clout. Even if we take it at face value, it's a prime example of modern paranoia running amok. So let's break it down. A guy approaches her from, a basketball court's length away. He's polite, maintains his distance, and just says, "Excuse me, miss," and she freaks out. Look, I get it. We live in a world where staying aware of your surroundings is crucial. But jumping straight into panic mode and yelling at someone for just trying to get your attention is way over the top. Not every guy who approaches you is a threat. Newsflash, not all men are lurking predators waiting to pounce. In this case, the guy wasn't aggressive or rude. For all we know, he might have been trying to let her know she dropped something or there was an issue with her car. But nope, her immediate assumption is that he's a danger. This kind of knee-jerk reaction just feeds into the narrative that men are always the bad guys, which is both unfair and harmful. It's incidents like these that make men question whether it's worth even trying to help someone. Why risk public humiliation or worse? This video should serve as a PSA for men. If you see a woman in public, even if she's in trouble, think twice before stepping in. Your good intentions can be easily misconstrued, and you might end up being the one in the hot seat. We've shifted from teaching women to be cautious to teaching them to be overly reactive and aggressive, and that's dangerous. The unfortunate reality is that men might start avoiding helping in situations where they're needed because they fear being wrongly accused or yelled at. If the message is that simply being male equals being a threat, then maybe it's time to let modern women handle things on their own. After all, Who wants to be the next target for public outrage, right?
I went on a date with a guy. It was fine. I picked up a few icks though, and I didn't want to go on a second one. He wanted to, and wasn't really getting the vibe I was trying to put down, that I wasn't into it. So I sent him a very kind rejection text that basically said, I think you're a great guy. I had a lot of fun. At the time, I thought this was true, but I don't think I'm feeling the connection that you're feeling. Something, I wish you well. He then responded by telling me that I was overestimating my position in this situation and that he never wanted to date me in the first place, even though he wanted to go on a second date, and that I'd need to get over myself. I responded by telling him that he had a fragile ego. This, of course, only added fuel to the fire, so then I received a few paragraphs telling me that I am simple and uninteresting and myopic. What does myopic mean? I didn't know. I had to Google it. He was just calling me simple-minded. After these paragraphs, I blocked him and did not respond. And I realized that, first off, I just should not have responded in the first place. I should not have brought my ego into the situation to call out his ego. The second thing I realized, it's more of an observation. This is not men bashing at all. I think it's just illuminating as to how women are conditioned versus how men are conditioned. Neither of which in this situation are good. When women get rejected, it's what's wrong with me? We turn inwards. What did I do? What do I lack? When men get rejected, at least in my experiences, it's been an outward projection. What's wrong with you? You're crazy. There's nothing wrong with me. I just think that this is fascinating. But the biggest takeaway, we know what myopic means now.
All right, let's break this down. This whole situation just highlights how modern dating has turned into a chaotic mess. It's almost laughable how even the simplest interactions have become a battleground of egos, insecurities, and endless nitpicking. Seriously, ladies, can we talk about the roundabout way of communicating? It's like being direct has gone out of style. Instead of just saying, hey, I appreciated our time, but I don't see this going further, we get this cryptic dance around the subject. No wonder guys are left confused, trying to decode these vague signals. Now, I'm not defending the guy's reaction, he probably went overboard. But let's be honest, he might have had a point. If she thinks men are the only ones projecting when rejected, she's missing the fact that many women can get pretty offended and nasty when faced with rejection. This is exactly why a lot of men are reluctant to spend on first dates these days. Can you blame them? Here's a tip if you're going to use a guy for a free dinner, at least be honest about it. A simple thanks for the meal, but I wasn't planning on seeing you again. Free food was nice would be way more straightforward. And when she says men aren't interested because they're intimidated, that's just deflecting responsibility. The idea that women are introspective while men are projecting is both laughable and sad. Society expects men to do all the heavy lifting from making the first move to paying the bill. She thought she was playing it smart, looking for her fairy tale ending, but ended up overplaying her hand. Instead of owning up to it, she's just ranting and playing the victim. As always, wishing you tremendous success. Now, it's your turn. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you found this video valuable, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Leave a comment and share with others. See you in the next video. Until then.